All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Fond Pod, the friends occasionally not disagreeing. I'm Dan, and I'm here with Cody and Justin to talk about a little thing we call Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, the longest title for a show we've had in a while. Um, but before we get into that, let's check in and see how we have been. Justin, do you want to go ahead and kick us off?
Sure. Well, over the past few days, the thing I've been doing the most is trying to get through the show we're about to be talking about today. Because I only recently reacquired Disney Plus, and I had not seen the first season of the show, so I really had to, just floor it, put the pedal to the metal, and just binge this thing like I have not binged the show in a long time to get through. Um, before that all happened, I had been playing through a bit of a game we're going to be talking about, I think, next week. I think
Yep.
it's next week. Not quite done with that yet because of this, but I should be able to finish it before then. I've been busy. Between that and then, of course, trying to get through the stupid training I've got at work. And let's see. Tonight I am actually going to the midnight release of book 8 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which is the only reason I'm not drinking hard liquor right now,
Oh,
because like 5 minutes before we started recording, I discovered that apparently not in the general neck of the woods that I live in, along the highway, somebody erected a giant gallows.
oh,
Um,
Oh my.
which with various things like spray painted and draped across it, which totally seems like a sane and normal thing to do.
like as
Um,
a political statement, or
oh yeah. You guys, I posted a thing about it on Facebook. If you want to take a peek, there's a video covering it. You could see it for yourselves. It's totally not at all worrisome, and the comments on the Facebook page for the channel that's covering it. Also, clearly not worrisome, and we totally don't have people calling for the return of public executions and how that might teach the youngins some respect. And well, I'm mildly paraphrasing that. So, perhaps
oh,
topical to what we're
Uh,
talking about tonight. Uh,
well, honest questions of the gallows. Did they seem they were built sturdy, or this was more of a like kind of show gallows?
there is a sign for a construction company next to
Oof, that's they say there's no bad publicity, but that's pretty close
it.
to bad publicity.
Yeah, one can hope. Hopefully, it doesn't drum up actual business for this guy. So yeah, that's me just dealing with a mild existential crisis right now.
wow.
Cody, what about you? What?
You're talking a full-on gallows here.
Yes, yeah.
Someone built. I thought maybe it was one of my leftover Halloween party props. I
No,
think
no,
I
I know what words mean, Cody.
I think I left my noose that I had up in the UP somewhere. I don't know where happened to that, but yeah, I did have a very large 8 foot prop of that. Anyway, prop warehouse and all. Actually, it's funny because I've been up to a lot of stuff, but side tangent here, and then side tangent for you as well, Justin. Before I get into that, one, we saw some mannequin heads at an antique store. We saw in Northwest Wisconsin some foam mannequin heads, and they're just like foam styrofoam heads. And my son was like, don't you want this for your Halloween party?" And I was like, "Ho ho ho, son, we already have 4 of those down in the prop warehouse." And he was like, "No, you don't." And I was like, "Oh, yes, we do." Um,
Cody gets his fresh.
Yeah.
but anyway, Justin, before I go into what I was into, just in 30 minutes, 30 words or less, do you want to just say what you thought about season 1 since you hadn't seen that before?
Um, 30 words or less. Yes.
Preferably in the form of a haiku followed by a limerick.
That's more than 30 words. Yeah, nutshell version. I enjoyed it. I do feel Marvel has kind of done the anyone who wears the mask is not a real hero kind of Civil War type storyline enough. I would like to see them move a bit past that. But that said, it did try to wrap more of a real world um, take on that sort of thing. I think that's roughly 30 words. So
Very good.
yeah.
All right. Over here, let's see. I've been up to a lot of little things around here. Nothing major. I just restarted watching Castle Rock season two, back to episode two of that now that we're done with the show we're discussing tonight. Um, Interesting. It's kind of, it seems like it's going off like a weird supernatural rail quicker than I thought it was going to for
Hmm.
this season, so that's kind of refreshing. Um, One of my more I'm calling it like a lottery ticket essentially because people like to gamble and have fun and spend a little bit of money in case they hit it big.
Mm.
So I somehow got in my head that I was going to seek out some unopened sealed boxes of 1992 Upper Deck baseball cards.
Oh no.
And so I bought a total of six boxes from three different sellers off of eBay for fairly cheap, actually like $1 a pack almost, with the kind of like deals I've been trying to get around on, which is actually cheaper than it was back in the day. I think they were $1.50 back in the day for Upper Deck. So for 34 years later, it being 50 cents cheaper a pack, I thought was a pretty good deal. But essentially, I'm trying to hit one of the legendary Ted Williams autograph cards that they randomly put in the packs. And I was doing some math when I got home just today. They don't know for sure how many boxes they made back in the day, but it was known for just way over mass produced everything crap back then. So near as we can tell, there was like 100,000 cases produced. Each case had like 20 to 40 boxes. And this is all adding up to a hell of a lot of packs they made back in the day. Divided by the 2,500 autographs equals I really have no chance in hell on this, but I thought it would be fun. So I got my first box in the mail the other day, and I am essentially opening a pack a day. So with the six boxes, that should last me over 200 days of a pack a day. And of course, I'll be gone some of those days, so it won't really be 200 a day. But so far, I'm proud to report 0 for 2
Oh,
on
very
those. So got that going
consistent.
for me. Yes. Besides that, just staining some wood here and there and getting ready with some chemicals I just got to go herbicide on my Canadian thistles that have taken over every garden I have that I hate to death. But
Damn Canadian flora.
took me a long time to figure out what those were, but somebody in a Facebook group actually helped me identify them, and now I read
Nice.
about how freaking terrible they are. But anyway,
Bad
how about
ones.
you, Dan? What have you been up to?
Major project around the house has been building a shed outside. This is
Oh,
we're doing the prep work. We're actually laying a concrete foundation. So I said, "Oh, we got a special guest here." So I had to dig up dirt, like lay rocks, put in rebar, put in the cement. So
oh,
that all
damn.
got done this weekend. And actually, building the shed is some kind of plastic kit. It's almost like Fisher Price, my first shed for adults. So I don't think that's going to take very long. So I think the majority of that is done, which is great because that means my big summer thing is already done, and I can enjoy the rest of the summer without a major project looming over my head. Let's see. In terms of other things, I finished Invincible season five, which continues to be just fantastic. The Boys, I'm caught up and watching that, and it's I cannot wait to see that like end and where things land. And that show continues to every single time I'm like, oh, they're it's so incredibly current. They can't get any more current. And I'm like, Jesus, I just saw this on Twitter, and now it's in an episode of The Boys. It's a little bit nuts. That's pretty great.
Safe to say you keep up pretty closely on the boys, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Also, I like the assembly easiness that you were talking about there, because I, on the other hand, went for the 400 pieces of wood that
Oh
I
God,
decided to stain and didn't realize how big of a problem that was going to be. So
Mm.
metal and
best of
plastic might
luck.
have been the way to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I'm hoping. So that should be a little bit easy. So, and then obviously watching the crap out of Daredevil here, because this is spoilers. I really enjoyed the fuck out of this.
Ooh, I'll shout out one more thing too. Boston and I have gotten to episode 4 or 5 of, I don't even know what the name of the show is, the last Spider-Man cartoon they put on Disney Plus.
Oh, Friendly
Actually,
Neighborhood.
yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Enjoying that one quite a bit.
Yeah, that one's a lot more fun than I expected it to be, and it's kind of cool seeing like the twists and a little bit different.
Yeah. It's like
And
episode what 2, like somebody finds out he's Spider-Man already, and like that's
yeah,
out there now, and like that's
Oh.
different, and like the roles of the people in the show is a little twist than on some of the
yeah.
other ones historically, so that's been kind of fun.
So now unfortunately this is another version of Spider-Man still needs to put into Beyond the Spider-Verse. So
Could use more Nicolas Cage, but
Oh, how excited are you for that series? Every time I see more of it, I'm like, yes,
On a scale of 1 to 10. All right, let's talk about Daredevil.
let's do it. All right. So you got a whole crap ton of characters to talk through here. Let's start with some of the big ones. So we've got our kind of main cast here. We got Charlie Cox as Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, Deborah Ann Wolf as Karen Page, and um, Margarita Lavina as Heather Glenn, the psychologist, who is having a lot of interactions with Muse or the image of Muse. So out of our kind of big returning cast from season one, any big changes, any big standouts?
Um,
Justin, you want to take point on that?
uh, I mean, I have always every anytime I've seen him, at least I have always liked Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal of Kingpin, or Wilson Fisk, if you prefer. Like he carries the gravity, the presence of a character like that. Just his line delivery, just the way he holds himself. He feels like the absolute perfect choice for Kingpin. So yeah, he is always a standout for me in terms of you know, comic book to screen adaptations. He's just absolutely spot on. Um, we can do like a round robin on this if you
I
want.
always,
Or
well, I'll just jump on him too. I've
yeah.
always enjoyed D'Onofrio as well because he, more than any of the other actors in any of the Disney or the Netflix shows, I feel like has always been a public presence for the advocating for this show. Like he seems to stand up to basically literally anyone and tell them to fuck off if they don't make more episodes of Daredevil, whether it was Netflix or Disney or whoever. I mean, this guy is just, I mean, he's almost playing the Kingpin in real life, and sometimes it seems like with the way he talks to people. But I do know they said he had to wear like a fat suit, right? Essentially, because he's actually gotten so buff that
Oh.
Yeah.
most of it is actually filmed in a fat suit now.
You
Oh.
see the behind
Which
the scenes stuff, and he's pretty cut.
I thought
Hmm.
the episode where he was doing the boxing match, I was like, "Ooh, how are they gonna hide that like fat suit behind the thing here?" We'll see, I guess. So
Oh yeah,
But
that was a brutal fight.
oh my God. I think Wilson Fisk, his arc in this season was just phenomenal in terms of someone who started in the like, I'm mayor, I'm controlling, I'm doing all these things, and his big message was like the ends always justify the means. It doesn't matter how I'm making the city safer, the city is safer. And then to see him like throughout this throughout most of the season hold back, be reserved, be like,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be that thing they say I am. I'm not the kingpin. Don't call me that. And then for him to like flip at the end was really, really rewarding to see him unleash.
Mhm.
besides that, I think Charlie Cox as always does a great job as
Oh yeah.
Daredevil slash Matt Murdock. I mean, he I think in this season, like I guess in all the seasons, even back to Netflix, like his character always has to wrestle with these two sides of this dilemma that he has, and he always has seemed to. At times he can get a little like I could see how people could criticize him for being like a little wishy-washy with like
Whiny bitch
I
boy.
believe this in episode 3 and I believe this in episode 5 or whatever. But I thought in this one in particular he was pretty resolute, particularly with Bullseye and how that was going to play out with Karen and some other things that came out in the season. But another great job by him again in
Mhm.
this season. I also have to wonder now, like since he ends the show basically as he ends the show, like will that fundamentally alter his acting performance going forward? Because essentially he doesn't need to act blind anymore. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Does best beg the question, does he get checks for disabilities due to his blindness?
Ooh, that's why he went to prison. Spoiler.
But he does, but he donates it all to the church.
Oh, that's nice.
Quick side. Have they confirmed a season three at all?
Hmm.
Or oh, they have. Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's already started filming.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I really, really wonder where they're going to go with that, considering how this ended. Okay, interesting. You mentioned Bullseye though, and
Yeah.
I really do like him as a character in this, much more than I thought I would have. That was Wilson Bethel, I think the actor's name is.
Hmm.
But yeah, he he feels. I'm trying to think of like another character to compare him to. He's got that sort of just under the surface psychopathy that you would get from a character almost like the Joker at times, where
Yeah.
it's just like you never quite know if you're safe around him, but but he delivers it well, and it actually the way he portrays that kind of unhingedness is it's just really well done, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting, a character I never really liked in the comics to be as compelling as he is in the show.
Yeah. Giving him those scenes of him like in the apartment making eggs, saying hi to his neighbors, like that kind of stuff adds so much to the character, and it really goes to show you that he believes wholeheartedly, like, no, I'm one of the good guys now. And, like, he hasn't
Mhm.
really done a whole lot to earn it at that point, but like that's what he believes, and that he just continues to go with his whole like psychotic nature, where you can just like flip on a dime and be like, nope, I'm totally a good guy now. I'm going to go after the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like all a job essentially to him, right? Like whatever he sees as the imperative mission at that moment is, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like he can flip the switch and just turn into this other person then.
Hmm.
And I also really appreciated his little like neurodivergent habits and stuff, like listening to the headphones and like
Hmm.
Mm.
him flipping the CDs around and stuff. Like there was a lot of great moments for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also showed out Karen just because she had more to do this season, I feel like.
Hmm.
That was a, I loved season one of this as well, but I think that was a lower point to me as they kind of nerfed her role in the show a little bit, just maybe for plot reasons to introduce the other love interest and the foggy angle and everything else. But I thought, her having the bigger role here, especially having to deal with her own trauma that she's gone through these seasons, and then Bullseye, and then Murdoch's making some questionable choices she doesn't agree with in terms of like how to handle situations, where do we use fight versus the law versus justice versus vengeance versus. So I thought she had a lot of um, necessary elements. I think where she was. Yeah, she was kind of her own character, I would say. Like she didn't exist purely to make Matt's character have these different sides to him. I mean, she did have her own parts and she had her own scenes, I guess, as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing her like get a lot more to do. I enjoyed her underground part, that is kind of like running the resistance, and like she kept repeating the phrase like hearts and minds, in terms of like, hey, what we're doing is about winning back New York City as a whole, not just beating some particular villain.
Hmm.
I thought it was they did it a lot in terms of her like putting on wigs and costumes.
Hmm
So it
Yeah.
was well done, but I was like, how many different wigs do you need?
I know it's a
And then
weird thing because you would think Matt's not even into that kind of thing since he's blind
right?
and all, but
It's an excellent point. And then her at the final episode in the courtroom, and her kind of like having flashbacks to her and Matt's dates and stuff like that, like really like rounded out her character, and like you said, the trauma she's going through and how she's like snapping away to something else to try to like get out of this probable death sentence of a court hearing that's going on.
yeah, absolutely. And I think especially, even back with the Netflix episodes, like her and Matt together was just kind of what everybody I think cheered for in its own way. And this was, I felt like in some ways like the first time we really got to see it, and it was brief, but the little glimpses we did get were nice. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to spend a moment on Heather Glenn, our psychologist here, who in season one was the love interest with Matt, and now season two is something very, very different. And I want to get everyone's reaction to whatever the hell is going on with her.
I mean, the main thing I want to talk about is raises the question: Are we already in full on spoiler territory?
I'm going to say, yeah, gloves
Okay,
off.
okay. So I understand there being lingering trauma over, her being almost murdered, slash assaulted, in other ways, possibly by, the oh God, what was his name?
Muse.
Muse. Thank you. I was thinking Stain, and I knew that wasn't right. But yeah, Muse.
ew.
I'm not sure why that popped into my head.
I'm the stain. That is
That's a
an awful
different
villain.
visit, boy.
It's a villain on the
That's a
boys.
That's a, it's a villain in My Hero Academia too. But yeah, I understand her being traumatized after her like run in and the revelation that she essentially created Muse in the first place. But at the very end, I mean, she keeps his mask. Sure, I get that. That's maybe a trauma response or whatever. But then she puts it on like she's sort of becoming him, or I don't know. That was weird to me. Like, is she trying to deal with can the thing that's traumatizing her not traumatize her anymore if she is now that thing herself? It's like the only psychological kind of explanation I can get for why she did what she did with that mask. It's
Yeah,
just weird.
she's taking control of that thing that causes her so much fear. And she's had this like focus and
Mhm.
leaning towards the vigilante world because she wrote that book. She was having lots of arguments with Matt about vigilantism. So it's almost
Mhm.
like this thing that she's aware of. And then I loved how they kept giving her like little moments to be very physically intimidating all of a sudden,
Mhm.
where they're like punching that other like lawyer like right in the neck so he
Yeah.
couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You're like telling Buck to choke her. Like it's a little like S&M-ish is like how I'm like
Yeah.
going like it's a basically it's a fetish that's starting to take on a life of its own in her world.
Hmm.
I mean, we've all done that with Buck. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just a, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I assume they're kind of making it set up like she will be the new Muse. I know Dan in season one, you, if I recall, were quite upset that he was
Yeah.
kind of used very sparingly, and then that
Yeah.
was the end of him. Like they used him up
Hmm.
as a villain. It's kind of a side plot, but maybe she will end up being like the true Muse of this series. Which I was thinking earlier, like she even with these little flashes, you're saying like she's not going to be a very physically imposing villain, but where they could really go with the angle of this is like just like a psychological villain.
Yep.
Who
Hmm.
better than a psychiatrist, psychologist to like really put the terror into that character and find new ways to attack victims that other people, wouldn't think of because it's not just like physically overpowering you. Like I'm going to put you in this fear-inducing situation.
Hmm.
Um, there's other characters out there that kind of have that type of thing too, but it could
Yeah.
be interesting. I don't know.
Especially since now she knows her ex-boyfriend is Daredevil
That's true.
and knows all of his weaknesses and then could like really lean in. And that's
Hmm.
that's something that like they did a Mysterio run versus Daredevil. And
Oh.
Mysterio made it a point to like really focus in on Daredevil and what made him tick, both in terms of his personality, but also his like abilities and disabilities. And so took
Hmm.
advantage of that. So if they bring in a little bit of that, where like she becomes Muse, and yeah, she really focuses on Daredevil and this is all about Daredevil. Like I think it could be really compelling, despite she does obviously have some abilities, but I don't think she could go toe to toe with Matt.
Yeah, right. Or if she'll just attack Karen like everybody else.
All right, let's take a moment to talk about Mr. Daniel Blake. Daniel, the young Michael Gandolfini.
Justin's
So,
favorite character.
Yeah, when I was binging through the last couple episodes last night, I think I typed out to you guys something like, "Oh, come on, Daniel has the most punchable face, and we don't even get to see him getting punched in the face." Um,
well, with a bullet, you do, but
I mean, yeah, yeah, but there, when he's getting the crap beaten out of him, it's like we're seeing it from like the other side of the couch, so we don't even see the hits connecting. I'm like, come on. That said, he was good in the role as like the slimy little weasel that just kind of does whatever the bidding that Kingpin wants him to do until he finally grows a backbone and stands up for himself. And well, it doesn't exactly end well for him, but I got a very minus like the money and all the tech bro stuff. I got a very Elon Musk feel out of him in the Doge era.
oh yeah,
So.
total doge bro.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I hated the character, but I liked the performance because
Yeah,
he gave me reasons to hate the character.
yeah. I will admit, I saw like flashes of it, like a young Tony Soprano, like trying to figure things out in him,
Hmm.
which added a whole lot of an enjoyment to his performance. I did hear some behind the scenes details about his end, and that they actually filmed it where he survived, and they
Oh,
ADR'd the gunshot in.
Oh,
So like, and apparently, like he literally got a call from the producers letting him know, like, hey, we're actually going to decide to take out your character because I'll view it as like a big sacrifice. It's kind of his big redemption arc. If he had lived, it wouldn't have made as much of an impact. So that actually was like a last minute decision. So they almost gave you a chance to see him get punched, but I think
Interesting.
that's probably one of the reasons.
I rewound that scene a couple times because I wasn't convinced at first
Yeah.
that he didn't shoot next to him on the floor and he actually was okay,
Mm.
but you do kind of see his head bounce a little bit, for
Yeah.
lack of a kinder term there. But I don't know. I felt like he
Mhm.
didn't have as big of a role this season. Maybe just the airtime allotment between the characters. He didn't seem as big as he did the first season. But I gave the show credit for making some more depths this season of characters that we've seen, through these two seasons between him and Vanessa,
Mhm.
Yeah.
both, and Buck, according to only one website. But yes,
Um, Speaking of Daniel, though, how did you feel about like how his relationship with BB progressed?
Was gonna ask. I thought it was really fascinating watching him have to confront like the literal choice of like, do you grow in this organization with Fisk, or do you go with this like kind of like pure voice it was the devil and angel on each of his shoulders, and it was interesting to see who he ended up finally picking.
Yeah, I I'm gonna be honest, I don't see what I mean because obviously by the end BB did start to feel something for him. I don't know what she saw in him in all honesty, but because I didn't find him charismatic at all, but I do agree that it was a nice kind of he acted as a litmus test. Like
Yeah.
can can the good in someone can like the virtues in somebody like overcome the convenience of power and luxury and privilege that he was getting just from giving into all his worst impulses. And it was I do agree that part was really interesting.
does seem
Yeah.
like he switched his mind a little quickly in that moment when he's like, "I'm taking you to be killed," and she's like, "Don't do this," and he's like, "All right, let's go this way."
It's true.
But he was an interesting character
That
through a
did
couple
seem that did seem
seasons.
a bit abrupt, so you're not wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about well, no, hold on. That's a new character. I want to talk about that later. Let's talk about um, Christine McDuffie. So this is the other lawyer at Matt's law firm. Someone who I thought in Born Again season one was overly used to a big detriment of the character. I think her being used a lot more sparingly in season two, especially in terms of showing like how kind of corrupt this whole safer streets, the the arraignment and the courtroom portions of it. I thought that was really entertaining and made me enjoy her character a whole lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Strong supporting actress, and yeah, you're right. If I'm trying to, some of the episodes kind of blend together in my head because I watched them so quick. Yeah, you're right. She did have less of a focus on her in season two, but I think she still, she was a good presence to have because she's someone not directly in the thick of things and yet still affected by everything going on. So she gives kind of a more baseline, grounded element to a regular person caught up in just the madness that's spiraling out of control through New York City. So yeah, I always liked her character.
And she was, I'm trying to think, she was, I guess, Heather probably too, but I guess, like, there weren't very many characters who only knew Matt, didn't know him as Matt and Daredevil, or didn't know him exclusively as Daredevil. Like, she was one of the few
Mhm.
who only knew him as Matt. And I think very similar to Daniel's character, we got enough of that character in season one that they could dial it back a little bit in season two,
Mhm.
and we just know who that is kind of then just going forward. So,
Mhm.
but I'm going to disagree with something Justin has said multiple times. I don't think that Daniel was the most punchable character in the show.
Oh,
Yes, I thought the most punchable character through two seasons was actually Officer Powell.
Oh my God.
that's fair.
That
Yeah.
motherfucker needed that gun hit to the head right there, I'll tell you. So,
He needed a lot more than
ooh,
that. I'm only hoping that they kept him alive for something really bad to
right?
happen in season three.
Maybe we'll get a
Ooh.
starting season with him in a cage or something. That'd be fun.
Oh,
Well, I
excellent.
think I
Uh,
think you see him at the very end in like the lineup
Yes.
of yeah, yeah,
oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
It has him in this in the cell there, yeah.
But holy crap, did he embody the smarmy guy who peaked in high school,
Hmm.
just deadbeat jock who has rage issues and nothing to offer the world. He embodied that so well. It was very easy to hate him. But at the same time, he was a believable character because people like
Yeah,
that exist.
for sure.
There was one really interesting moment with him I wanted to talk about at the very last episode in the courtroom when, Matt outs himself as Daredevil. Powell like almost like takes joy in finding out that Matthew Murdock actually is Daredevil because when he got his ass kicked really early in season one by the blind guy, now he feels better that like, hey,
Uh,
that's
Fair
why.
point.
that's funny.
Reassurance. One new character I wanted to talk about, Mr. Charles, if that's his real name. Matthew Lillard shows up in season two as a very interesting character that then connects to the larger MCU.
Okay, this is where some of my lack of the extended Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of, becomes evident. Because I didn't recognize this character from the comics, and as the show went on, I started to wonder, was he like a regular on the Jessica Jones show? Because I never watched that. Okay, so I thought he
This is
was
a
like
this is a new character for
Yeah,
this
this is
season.
okay.
yeah, to make you feel better. He is not in the comics. He's
Yep.
not in any of the other shows. He is brand
Okay.
spanking new.
Okay, gotcha. I assumed he was just from something I hadn't seen.
Yeah, I was also like, why is Shaggy so mean now? But
Yeah. Or just I was just like, well, I guess it's nice to see the lone gunman from the X-Files still getting work.
There you go.
He was kind of abrasive. I mean, I saw what they were going for with him, but I don't know if it entirely worked.
he's just such
Like,
a character actor that it's like he's distracting when you see him pop up in something because you're like, oh, it's Matthew Lillard. Like,
Yeah.
what is he doing in Daredevil? Why is he here?
He is very distinctive and like it felt like if you've ever seen Hackers, the grown up version of his character in Hackers felt like his performance in this.
Hmm.
whereas I almost, the more I think about it, it was like if Hunter S. Thompson had been one of the lone gunmen,
There
because
you
he
go.
always had there was that feel that he was almost maybe on something for
Yeah.
a lot of this. Like he just didn't take anything seriously, and it was just he was falling back on his status as an FBI agent or whatever to carry him through. So he just didn't give a damn about anything that was going on, and except for a few moments. It was it was weird. It was just a strange performance overall.
Yeah, agreed.
Uh, I will mention his connection to like the bigger MCU is he it sounded like he was on the phone with someone reporting directly to her, maybe exactly Vanessa Delphine, whatever the long name is, from the Thunderbolts. And then that seems to be the implication is that he's working basically for the leader of the Thunderbolts in some capacity, like recruiting superpowered individuals, which is why seeing Bullseye at the end on the plane next to him was the implication that we might see Bullseye somewhere else.
Okay.
Which they haven't done yet, right? They haven't had. There hasn't been any crossovers. Like, well, Kingpin.
Mi-
Well, Kingpin was on Hawkeye, I guess.
Kingpin was in Hawkeye, and Ms. Marvel showed up in the Marvels.
Was almost a different.
He was Kingpin. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Was almost a different Kingpin, though. I mean, in that show, I guess he was an Echo too.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna. Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
bring up Echo with the whole sign
Kingpin
language
and the
thing.
Hawkeye is just weird, though. He's like running around in a Hawaiian shirt, and it's
Yeah, it's a choice.
yeah. But anyway,
All right. And then to get into kind of spoiler territories, we've got a character that was very obviously going to be in here in terms of Kristen Ritter showing up as
Wesley.
Jessica Jones. Oh, well, we could talk about those characters too.
Jessica Jones. I thought she was going to be in this series much sooner than she was. Finally, in episode 6, I think it was, she popped
Yeah.
up finally, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, here she comes finally." But, I love Jessica Jones. She's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Now a mom. That's an interesting twist on it. And in the suburbs.
Yeah, well, I actually thought that was a really smart way for them to Disneyfy her character.
Yeah.
Because essentially she's not Superman, but she's damn strong and kind of invulnerable in some ways, and her only real crutch in the old Netflix show was like alcoholism. And here they found like she had a kid and it changed her like biology. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. My wife lost the ability to eat eggs and she is no longer a superhero all the time. So that's interesting how that played out. But I thought it was kind of a fun way to like eliminate something and also nerf her a little bit just as a powered character who's not overly awesome on everything now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I've never seen Jessica Jones. I was very much winging it when she showed up, as like trying to figure out what she was about, what she could do, how she was known by the other characters. So I was just sort of along for the ride when she
oh
showed
my
up. It's like,
gosh,
okay.
Justin. Well, now you have Disney Plus and they put all the old Netflix stuff on there. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if Dan would agree with this, but I know Dave and others would say the first season of Jessica Jones was their favorite
Yeah.
Disney TV, Marvel
It's
TV
really
show.
high up
like
there.
I've heard good things. It's just I didn't recognize her as a character I would have known from the comics,
Mm.
and thus when the show was airing, like at the time, I didn't give it really any thought because it was just sort of like, well, is she in the comics at all, or was she like made for that
She
show?
no, she's definitely in the comics. She is
Okay,
definitely retconned pretty hard in terms
okay,
of part of the story, and they explore this a little bit. Do they in season one? I don't think so. No, they don't. So her
Mhm.
comic origin is where she was like teamed up with the Avengers for a short time, and then
Okay.
the villain, who's the main point in season one, like basically is able to control people's mind and like cause them to like semi forget she existed. So no,
Oh,
the Avengers came looking for her, and that is an additional
oh.
bit of trauma in the comics for her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the character, so I just kind of I saw that it was a show. Somehow it was Marvel, and it was just sort of like, eh. So maybe I'll go back and actually give that a shot now that I have some exposure to the character
Should at least watch the
here.
first season. It
The,
is
the first season is
interesting
where it's
with
at.
the
Okay.
manipulation angle is pretty heavy trauma, but it's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
I still like Daredevil more. That's my money, but
Fair.
Be interested though, Justin, with this being your first exposure to her, like if you had to summarize her like abilities in a sentence or two, could you?
Super strength at least, intermittently. And I don't think any of the bullets hit her, so I don't know if she has like super toughness or not. But I mean, she was able to like chuck, gigantic, metal
Yeah.
pipes across the room and whatnot. So yeah, super strength. That's kind of that would be the only thing I could say with 100% certainty.
Yeah. I mean, that's in she can fly, but she really doesn't like to.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's basically the super strength stuff. So you
Okay.
got it. You got it covered. Good. I was interested to see like how much other represent, and then she is not bulletproof, if I remember right. Yeah,
I
she
don't
can get
think
hurt.
so. Luke
Okay.
is.
Yeah, Luke is.
Okay.
Has
I
she
did hear
flown in
them
the
mention Luke
shows?
Cage in passing at one point, so it's just like, okay, she's connected to him somehow. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Like I think in season two, there's an implication that she flies
Oh, okay.
once or twice, but
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then we get the cameo by Luke Cage at the end there too,
yes,
with a beard, rocking a
Sweet
beard.
Christmas.
Which again, Justin, if you want to watch some fantastic TV, watch the first half of the first season of Luke
Yes,
Cage,
just
but
that.
don't go any further.
No further.
Oh no. Okay.
They do a weird thing in season one of that show where they had two villains and they gave each villain half of the series. Or
Oh.
season, I should say, which is really weird. And the first half is really good and the second half is not.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's
Oh,
it was that was a choice.
okay. Did they bring in like Madcap or something as the second villain?
Kind
Or
of.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Ki-
Gotcha.
Kind. That would have been preferable, probably, but
Yeah.
Ooh, Howard the Duck.
no.
Oh,
It's a little more based in reality than that, but it's
Okay.
yes.
For a second, I was like, "You're not saying no." So I was,
well,
uh, okay.
I was
But
made for loving you, and you were made for loving me. Let's do this.
And with Luke Cage showing up there, there have already been set leaks from season three, and suffice to say he's definitely going to be in it. So
hmm.
we're
Hmm.
expecting to see a little bit more of kind of that era. like kind of that Netflix season's coming back in there. So it's
Iron Fist is
Cool.
back.
oh God, I don't know how so spoilers in case anyone doesn't want to know, but they did show Finn Jones on set along with Michael Coulter. So yeah, the Iron Fist is back, and I don't know how I'm going to square that because out of all that Netflix stuff, there was a lot that was good, there was some that was all right, and then there was Iron Fist, and it's just like I don't know if I can handle it. They have to do some major rebuilding with him for me to accept it.
Yeah, not good. All right. Yes.
Let's see. You mentioned Wesley. So we had two returns. These were entirely new filmed scenes and filmed in a different aspect ratio. When it was these big flashbacks, we had some of Wesley and some of Foggy. What do we
Mm.
think of our little flashback additions?
Ah, well, it was good to see Foggy again. I mean, I did see some of the original Netflix run of Daredevil back in the day, and I always liked Foggy as a character, and just when they just straight up gank him in the first episode of the first season of this, it's just
Rough.
like holy shit. It was good
Yeah.
to see him again though, and it felt like yeah, he was. It was interesting seeing him be the one that was all about like no we need to do the right thing whether or not this guy's a good person he still deserves representation and all that instead of Matt because it like through the rest of the show it feels like Matt Murdock is very much that side of things so seeing how Foggy influenced him in that one flashback to maybe start going down that route was kind of interesting I thought.
So I completely agree. That's what the flashback did. I have a problem with that juxtaposed with all the rest of the performances because there's scenes in like the Netflix series where he's like, let's just take the money for once. And like that's kind of like what Foggy had been, and that like Matt withheld to that. Matt was like the more of the moral compass between the two. So in my mind, I have to go like, okay, well maybe this is the one time where Foggy was like the more moral of the two, and that made a big impression on Matt, and that's what caused. Because there's plenty of stuff in like season three where Matt's like, no, this is the morally just thing to do. We have to do this by the law.
I
And
think
Foggy realized you need to keep the lights on.
I've always kind of taken their relationship as give take. Like some days it was one, some days it was the other, but
Mm,
together they held each other together.
there you go.
And then I think as Matt first became more Daredevil, then that kind of pushed him more to one side of the justice scale. See what I did there?
Ooh.
And then Foggy kind of was his reason to kind of come back to center a little bit. Maybe Karen too, I suppose, somewhat there. But even at the end of this, we saw like Karen was the one who was like, "We need to just kill this guy. Like, what are you doing?" And Matt was like, "Hold on, no, let's just."
I love when that came up and they're like, "You've been spending too much time with Frank." I'm like, "Yep, that sounds like Frank speaking through
It
Karen."
does.
Yeah,
Uh,
When I
definitely
put
too.
them down, they don't get back up.
Even even just rewatching in this season Foggy's death again, I was like, man, I'm traumatized watching this
Yeah,
for a new season after bringing it back up from last season.
yeah.
it was good seeing Wesley again. Sorry, Wesley's superior to Buck. It's almost the same goddamn role.
It is almost the same role. I was quite surprised to see Buck's backstory in terms of like
Yeah.
kind of like how he looked and who he was prior to Wesley hiring him. I was like, this dude's like a homeless vet that's like, I don't even know what
With
kind
my
of
high British
activities he's up
accent.
to, right?
Lisa, spell some change.
And he's so refined talking to Daniel later. I'm
I
like,
know.
motherfucker, we know who you were. Don't give us that.
What did you do in that Olive Garden bathroom?
Exactly. When you hear your family. New meaning to unending breadsticks. All
Oh
right.
God.
Well, you did say you could really go for a hot dog right about now.
And if you want your breadstick to be never ending, check out Hymns. There it is. We got it, Dan.
You did it. Well done.
Uh,
Got that one in.
we'll keep doing it until they pay us to stop.
That's right.
Okay, well, huge list of characters, quite a few we're getting through here. But let's talk about, and we've touched on this a little bit. Let's talk about some of like the themes that were really present in here. One of the big ones I want to talk about is the Mayor Fisk arc in terms of where we start at the beginning of this season and where we end at the end of the season, like what did we think of the Safer Streets initiative and the ultimate eh, result of it?
Um, Topical,
Yeah,
uh, is the best way I can sum it up.
I,
Yeah,
I literally said out loud when the crowd is rushing into the courtroom, like for blood, I was like, this feels not okay.
yeah. It's weird because the optics of that were very reminiscent of January 6th,
Yep.
but a very different sort of crowd after very different sorts of things.
Yeah.
So that strange, like, mental juxtaposition, that really had me off balance as I was watching that episode. It's just like I
Hmm.
think I think they did that to make a statement that this sort of thing is never okay,
Yeah.
but doesn't mean it was comfortable to sit through.
That's really interesting. I had not even put the January 6th thing together.
Yeah. It really like well, especially how much the anti-vigilante task force just looked like ice and
Yeah, it
operated
was.
like ice. Like
Right.
like I had that vibe going through and that was really present watching the season, like Justin said, very topical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is. I feel like there's a lot to say on this part, but it's I guess maybe boy, now I'm questioning if I guess I didn't put that together because it felt like it was flipped, but in terms of for justice winning instead of losing. Um, but I guess you could make the argument here, it's all perspective, I suppose, which is maybe a little bit of what Matt was talking about through a lot of the season here. But yeah, it is interesting though. Like the anti-vigilante task force, this is really like where do we as so I was telling Justin like you should watch this show season two because it has a lot to do with like what's happening in the world
Mhm.
right now in the country, and it's like do citizens and to what point do citizens have the obligation to stand up to wrongdoings by the government? We see that here in this show play out. We saw it play out in Minnesota and other places
Mhm.
here in our world. Um,
Well, and the founding fathers had a particular view on that too.
they certainly did. Yes, which is it's interesting. I don't know, but it was good to see the people in this show, I think, kind of rise up against the corrupt system and the politicians who were breaking the law for their personal benefit
Mhm.
and see I would say by the end of the show, like it seemed as though most of the fictional New York had kind of rallied around the one side of the argument, where throughout the season there were people that were in support of Fisk and some other things, but it seemed like, or at least they only showed us at the end of this season, more people were kind of against everything that was happening with the ABTF as they were going on here. But when they kind of like after Officer North smacks Officer Powell, and then he's just like, let him in. I'm like, whoa, that was, I don't know. It
Yeah.
felt like a moment. It felt like something big was going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have some more thoughts on that in my like closing comments, I think, at the end. But yeah, that last episode was a lot. Let's just put it that way.
It was a lot. You're exactly right.
Justin got so excited he went out and made some urban art nearby. And
Well, speaking of the Mayor Fisk arc and the Safer Streets, the it started in season one, but continued through this kind of like pro ATF propaganda and probably a little bit more of this, but the BB report kind of giving that juxtapose, so almost like the summary, letting people know, and it also was the first time we like I think saw people actually watching it in the show, right? Because I think in season one they were like, "Hey, what is this? Where's this coming from?" But like we hadn't really
Mhm.
seen as many people interacting, which I think kind of showed the BB report getting further and further out and spreading in this news.
Brief aside about the BB reports and all that. I know this was filmed before like the Iran war started happening, but that is it's not quite a dead ringer, but it is a weird parallel for like the Lego
Yes,
videos they're doing in response to everything we're doing. Reality is foobar at this point
we
because
never should have shot that damn gorilla. That's where the timelines went off.
It makes as much sense as anything.
I was a little surprised they revealed who was behind that as quickly as they did, because I thought for a while there was a chance it could be somebody else.
Mm,
But then, I mean, it was like episode 3 or something, I think they
Yeah.
showed it was her, and I was
mhm.
like, oh, I thought they'd keep that going a little bit longer just in case. But thought it'd be funny if it was like Buck or somebody.
That would have, oh God, that would have been really great.
Daniel.
Oh, that would have been interesting. Like
Didn't
he's
have
not
the.
actually on board at
That
Yeah.
all.
actually, oh, you just made a better show in my head.
Oh no. The Jersey lisp.
Oh,
What do we think about the theme of Matt and Karen being in hiding and being like in this underground like world and having to rely entirely on their contacts and the people throughout the city?
I mean, in most of the best movies and shows about like uh, a resistance force rising up and trying to do what's right, I mean, you need to really hammer home that they're the underdogs. And I think this played into that really quite well because if the streets aren't safe, uh, you have to, have your base of operations somewhere. And yeah, it really had like almost like an Andor feel to it. It sees, in a good way.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Emphasizing just the disparity in power and influence, and yet people still trying to do the right thing where they can from where they can. Um, so yeah, it's a classic move to portray the good guys as the underdog and as being having to work from that kind of standpoint. And I think it worked here.
I liked it as well. I thought Fisk's task force was probably not the brightest if they couldn't tail Karen and Matt's informants to like get to where they were at, though. I was like, okay.
But to
There's
be fair,
good.
a lot of them didn't seem the brightest anyway. And
That's
again, that
true.
maybe parallels reality.
Yeah.
There you
So,
go. Biting, but right. All right, let's talk about the goddamn fights. There were
Yes.
some freaking highlights in this show. Why don't we start? Let's just go right to the dinner massacre. Let's talk about Bullseye's fucking diner experience.
So good. Oh my God.
oh,
Watched it twice in a row. As soon
Yeah.
as it was done, rewound it, watched it again. It was amazing.
yeah, just really well choreographed, just well shot.
Yes.
Um, and God, do they not pull any punches in this show?
No, no,
Yes.
I love how we kicked it off. Just that random tip. Yo, Frank Castle's right here. Oh yeah, like that
Oh,
was.
oh, he's got a gun.
Yeah.
Click.
Like he knew exactly how to play it. He was so calm as they were like rushing in because he already knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And then his little like quips and like interactions with the other patrons at the diner, just like, no, you're okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're good. Except for the guy with the
Was it?
dog.
Yeah.
Dogs in a restaurant are unsanitary.
Right.
Don't kill me.
And I believe that is the diner from season 1 of Born Again where Matt and
Oh, where
Fisk,
they meet?
I think so.
Oh,
I
There's a
don't
lot
know.
of diners
Maybe.
in New York. I could be wrong, but I
Yeah, it could
think.
be.
yeah.
Yeah, that scene was fantastic, though. Like, what a great scene to give Bullseye, just to remind us of what he is capable of, rather than like the one random shot here or the one thing here. But awesome, just amazing.
Yeah.
What do we think of the Red Hook shipyard raid? And that's the one with Jessica and Matt busting in.
Um, Again, I wasn't. This is just from my lack of experience with the character. I really wasn't sure what to expect from her when she started like picking up stuff and using it as shields and like whipping it across the room and making things explode and all that. But it was fun. And seeing like the disparity in power between her and Daredevil and seeing
Yeah,
them both kick inordinate amounts of ass was also pretty cool.
that I
Enjoyed. Go ahead.
oh I it's but whenever we get to see Daredevil fight like in a well lit area, so we can really see what he's doing. Yeah, and they've also obviously like upped the kind of athletic game of Daredevil quite a bit, and his use of his like baton, especially like the grappling hook.
Mm.
thing to swing around. That was such a welcome addition, and really it made him so much more distinct. He's not just like a brawler; he's also got this like gymnast element of it because of how well he can balance. So it was
Yeah.
really great seeing that. And like you said, as opposed to Jessica, who's basically like operating like a Hulk and just running through things.
Yeah. Enjoyed that one. Actually preferred the third episode fight scene to that one though, where they busted people out of the cages where he's with
Oh,
Swordsman and some of the other people that are trying to
oh,
get out from the AVTF
Yes.
in that scene. I liked that one a lot as well. I mean, really, the choreography in the shows since the beginning of the Netflix has always been fantastic in all of
Yeah.
the Daredevil shows.
mhm.
They just
I don't
keep
know.
upping it.
Do they just have a fantastic choreographer? Is it the same choreographer, or
That's a good
is
question.
Charlie Cox actually that passable as like I mean he must be doing a little bit, if not some or most of this himself?
I've heard a lot of the cast give Charlie Cox a lot of credit, and I will also say his physique in this season is like another step above. Like he is noticeably more
Hmm.
muscular than in previous seasons. But you brought up the swordsman, and that was a character who I didn't expect to see back, and I actually thought had a dramatically better performance in season two through the fight scene during the escape. That
Mm.
was really great, but also his like courtroom scenes in terms of that like that defeated attitude he had of just like whatever, this is all for show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed that the like kind of the last half of the season was him going like, well, here's my expense account, see you later, and like kind of disappeared. I would have liked to have seen him in like that
Mm.
lineup at the courtroom in the final or in the courthouse in the final episode. Like that would have been the perfect spot to have the swordsman there. Like that should have been there should have been a few more heroes in that lineup.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's somebody that they could pull back out if they ever want to have a little
Yeah.
cameo here or there though.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
All right.
Yeah,
And then
fight scenes are great though.
let's
Yes.
let's talk about that last fight scene in the courthouse, the dual hallway
Phew.
fights going on.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that despite being despite being a normal human being with no real like metahuman powers, the Kingpin is still practically a force of nature.
Yeah.
And just seeing him actually be able to cut loose, he's like breaking people's backs and
Hmm.
just knocking them over railings with one punch, and like you can see the blood just spattering and from probably multiple broken things in their face.
Yep.
The guy is a beast, and this was just absolutely brutal.
Yeah. From the moment he opened that door and said "boo," like I knew shit was gonna go real bad real fast, and it like I almost had to look away at sometimes because yeah, it was just massacring people with like he didn't even slow down until he got like in that main rotunda area.
Yeah, yeah, when he actually got
Yeah.
mobbed, and just
Yeah,
sheer numbers were able to bring him down for
yeah.
a
So it
bit,
had to be
but.
like a dozen against one to even like start slowing him down.
Mhm. And I remember him always being, despite being kind of like a bigger guy who's more of like a in the shadows sort of mastermind character. Even in the comics, I always remembered him being like an actually good fighter too.
Hmm.
So and very, very gratifying to see that represented, even if it was uh, a little hard to sit through at times, like you said.
Yeah, that was fantastic scene. I think I even go back a second before that. I don't know if you're going to touch on this or not as much, Dan, but like it was a really great last episode just from the fact that it was split into like the legal fight and then the street fight and then eventually the street fight is in the legal building essentially
Hmm.
is how this all comes to be. But Daredevil, for whatever reason, this is, I was a Marvel kid growing up, but he's not a character that I was ever overly attached to in any way, shape, or form. But once the Netflix show started, like I've always been really intrigued in this character, and I've read some of the past famous arcs, from the library and other things that I've gotten graphic novels from. But the sections of his show in particular that take place in the courtroom, and there's that kind of a battle going on, whether it's him or I forget what's his partner's name there, um, in the
Chris,
judges and the corruptions. What is it? Kristen?
Kristen, yeah.
Yeah. It was, I mean, the legal part of this where they were fighting for a while, kind of hinting at what they were really saying without actually coming out and saying what they were saying, and then Kingpin being like, "You sure you want to go here?" And then Murdoch's like, "Yeah." Like that was as tense to me and as good of a fight as some of the physical stuff in this show, which I think really is a credit to how well this show is put together. That both halves are so fulfilling to me to watch, because this you could definitely my wife could tell you. I don't know if anybody else could, but I hate legal shows. Like can't stand them. Like negative 20 on my thing. I just don't like any
Ooh.
show that features a courtroom for the most part. Never have liked them. Don't really enjoy movies that feature that. It's like I don't know, just it's just boring to me. I don't know. It's just funny because once upon a time I thought I would be a lawyer in life, but I did enjoy She-Hulk where they just kind of poked fun at the like legal
Yeah.
system a little bit. But like for whatever reason, the Daredevil shows I think have always been interesting to me, and I don't know why because I don't know what about it is presented differently, or if it's the fact that he's secretly a superhero or whatever. But I do enjoy the whole entirety of the episode, both halves, and I think they complement each other just so well. I do question how Kingpin doesn't go to jail though for just killing all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point. If we can jump to that, I would argue the entire ending of Kingpin there shown in the kind of like montage of where all the characters end leaves a lot of questions open. I will to spin slash defend the ending a little. He did mention that he was talking to Vanessa about like the vacation they went on to a beach and how much he didn't like the beach. He didn't like the sand, like Anakin
Ooh.
Skywalker, but he was okay because she was there. And so the solace I'm trying to take in this is kind of like, well, you can't throw him in jail because he like basically runs those jails. Like he has a lot of control over them. They kind of show that in season 2 with like the Punisher being in jail. So you got to get him somewhere else. And so this is the closest to a personal hell he would have is being alone in this place where like Vanessa was, and all I can think about is Vanessa and him just being empty.
Maybe
That said,
he's
he
maybe he's
killed a
at
lot of
Elba
fucking
where they
people.
maybe he's at the island of Elba where they put Napoleon. That could be.
There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah,
We're just seeing the sand. I mean,
who knows? Could be anything.
Maybe he's at the foot of that giant, eternal or whatever that is rising up
Yeah,
out of
there you
the
go.
ocean.
yes,
Helmet. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
it felt a little weird though that he was on a
yeah,
sandy beach and Daredevil was going to jail, which I would kind of have to assume with the political climate he's not going to stick there, but I'm sure they'll make the basis of some kind of case to get him out in season 3 maybe instead of just blanket like you were helping the city, we're gonna let you off the hook type thing.
Mhm.
it'll be interesting. There was a major comic run where Daredevil was in prison, and surprise, surprise, it ended up being this like bloodbath as all these people he put away as Daredevil now find out that he's right over there.
Well, right.
Um,
Look
and
at
he
the way
actually
the AVTF were looking at him.
exactly. In the comic, he kind of went dark and ended up getting out because he started to lead the ninja clan, the Hand.
Oh.
Oh.
So there is potential now that Daredevil has achieved this great purpose of putting away his major villain, defeating him not physically but like morally.
Mhm.
That like maybe Daredevil spirals a little bit and does some dark stuff.
Hmm.
That's a potential
Hmm.
hope. My other real fan cast is that there's a whole lot of that Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that shows him in the prison fighting the Hand, and I'm like, they could be Daredevil. Daredevil could be right there. Daredevil could be one of the characters they edited out of that one scene that looks a lot like
Hmm.
Spider-Man Far From Home, where they edited out the other Spider-Man. But I'm really trying to restrain myself back from like fan writing something that's a whole lot better than what actually ends up being. So there's some potential, some good options. Like him being in prison isn't that big of a surprise to me. It's just a question of like, what are they going to do? If he's out within a couple episodes in season 3, boo. Like, let's do something.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want a season of him just in jail, though, do you?
Well, it's
Wagon
season
Bros, no. You
season 3 is going to be so much like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, anyways. It'll be
think so?
they'll split it. Oh yeah.
What are they like? I was less concerned about him and more concerned about what do they do with Kingpin now? Like it, New York's kind of ran its course. He's not really like super powered-y, connected-y enough to like have a world level threat. So what is that character gonna do? Just kind of sit off in the sunset for a while and
I
then
don't know. He
Hmm.
Kingpin is such like an evergreen villain in the comics. They'll find some reason he'll have to go see Echo or something. Like they'll spin something, or like maybe his Hawaiian t-shirt will finally like make sense.
hmm.
Well, we'll see how that turns out.
Could be interesting if they brought him back as like somebody else's henchman and just like
Oh,
let him be Bruiser, not Mastermind, but just Bruiser, just to see how that
I don't
goes.
think his ego would ever allow him to do that though.
I don't think it would, but if they had somebody who clearly had like you know, kind of like superpowers, where he's
Mhm.
like, I can't defeat that person because I'm not a metahuman, and
Hmm.
it just I'll use my rage for your weapon, and like that's
yeah.
kind of I don't know, just trying to think where they could go
Okay.
with him.
Plus, Kingpin would act as if he's doing that, but secretly he'd be plotting the overthrow anyways. That's Kingpin's deal.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Though it
Anyway,
would,
great finale, lots of
yeah,
goosebumps.
lots of great stuff. Let's see. Uh, talked about the fights, connections to the MCU. Um, Thinking of brand new days. Sorry, read through my notes here. I will, in terms of connections to the MCU, potentially setting up for Spider-Man Brand New Day in the trailer. The mayor that Spider-Man is getting the key from in the trailer is our now mayor. Now that Fisk is out, right? The who is she? The chief of staff.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think I've actually watched the Brand New Day trailer. I don't think I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
March McCaffrey.
Like the advisor lady?
Yeah, the one who was
Hmm.
like constantly
Old
telling
school
Daniel,
City
like, be
Hall?
careful
Oh.
what you're doing. Like
Oh, wow.
she is seen handing the key to Spider-Man in the new trailer.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's why I'm secretly hoping, come on, do some stronger connections between those characters.
Might actually get a TV movie connection finally, huh?
Just crossed.
Mhm.
All right. It wouldn't
Never.
be an episode hosted by me without talking about some of the music. So obviously Pyramid Song gets a huge focus here at the end to help kind of with the montage showing where everyone is. I think that was a great needle drop. I'll also mention that during the warehouse fight with Jessica Jones and Daredevil, the music that was playing was actually Jessica Jones' show's theme music done with like an electric guitar. So it was an electric
Hmm.
guitar cover of her theme music, which I thought was a really nice way to tie that in.
And Justin, she's a private investigator if you don't know the character well,
Okay. Yeah,
which is also sweet. So
okay. Yeah, I will have to check out her show at some point. It's just, now that it's, God, when did that come out?
Oh
a
man,
while
that's
back,
like
Yeah, it was 20
2017.
10 years ago, probably. Yeah.
2015 is what I'm seeing.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think enough time's gone by. I can give it a shot, certainly.
yeah,
At least the first season, like I said.
yeah,
Okay.
the first season.
You don't have to
Okay.
watch The Defenders, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, we'll see.
actually,
I
no,
did like
please don't.
Punisher quite a bit, though, so that your mileage may
Okay.
vary there.
Gotcha. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on Frank Castle. I mean, he was all right, but he was definitely not like my favorite character from this by any stretch. So,
His shows are more about his own personal trauma,
okay.
Oh yeah,
which I mean, if you go through the shit that guy went through, I could see why you'd be a cesspool of rage 24/7 as well.
yep,
Okay.
pretty much. I'm excited. It's what coming out tomorrow? Yeah, the Punisher one shot's coming out tomorrow.
Oh.
Oh, that's coming out tomorrow already.
Yeah,
Snappity doo-dah.
I know.
Oh, snap. How about that? You still talking about music?
Yeah.
Well, mine wasn't about music, so go
Oh.
Oh no,
ahead.
so okay. Then the only thing actually this is sound. There's always the challenge of like how do you show Daredevil using his powers? And I think this season they did a little in season one, but this season especially in terms of like the watch that he puts into the crate so he can figure out where these like
Hmm.
arms are,
Mhm.
like that kind of like zoom in, zoom out of the sound. I think that was used really effectively and probably saved him a bunch budget wise because I don't think that was super expensive shots to do.
They didn't have as many of the ear effects as they did in
Yeah.
season one.
No Ben Affleck like echo sense going
Yeah.
on.
That must be really annoying, though. I noticed when he was eating dinner with Karen for the 3 minutes they actually had together at a restaurant to just
Yep.
not be able to turn off all the sound in the city because you can hear it all the time.
Mm.
Yeah. You're like, Karen, don't eat that. Someone dropped something in that.
I'm thinking I can't even sleep if I can hear a TV across the house. Like I would never be able to sleep. I'd be dead in 3 days.
They definitely skip past that because the Ben Affleck movie had that whole like isolation bed chamber thing that he slept in the water to like try to get all the sound
Oh.
out.
I blocked that whole movie out. I guess I can block things out.
There you go.
Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so wrapping this up, any kind of closing thoughts before we get to the ratings?
I just wanted to give Disney credit for having fuck Fisk written in graffiti in a scene.
Right?
I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, the Fisk U signs and whatnot, that was one thing, but I did catch that as well. It's just like, oh well, that slipped under the radar.
You're right.
Well, you can watch Hoppers, or you can watch Born Again season two. It's
Hey, Hoppers was delightful. Don't you dare.
No, I so distinctly remember for Born Again season one, hearing Disney was going to take on Daredevil. I was like, ooh, let's, especially since Moon Knight's the show that I was expecting them to like push the envelope, and they definitely
Yeah.
did some things, but like now that I see that they're willing to go here, I'm like, hey, give Moon Knight another shot. Let's get
Yes.
some of this in there.
Yeah.
Agreed wholeheartedly. I've always liked that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little, if any, tone down of violence compared to the Netflix shows here. It's just, I mean, the Bullseye Diner scene alone is, the cracked bones and the blood and all
Mhm.
through this season. It's
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever.
there was a moment last episode where they've got a sniper waiting for Daredevil to come out, and he's dressed up like Bullseye, and then the real Bullseye shows up behind.
Yeah.
Oh, chef's kiss. That was just great.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Ah.
Love it. All right.
Ratings time.
Ratings time. Who's first, Dan?
Cody, it's gonna be you.
Okay. Well, in honor of the antique store we were at this weekend, where there was an oddly unusual high amount of in sync paraphernalia that you could purchase on the shelves in the booths, it's gonna be May. So here we go. I'm going up first. I'm gonna give this show a fantastic score because I enjoyed coming back into this world again. And really, like, there were genuinely a lot of parts where I just was really, really deeply engrossed in what's happening on the screen, and just the last episode was fantastic. Some of those fight scenes were fantastic. Some of the relationships with the characters was fantastic. I mean, Buck and the hot dog, how could you not get behind that? That was a whole thing, but it was great. Anyway, loved it. Don't remember what to give the first season, but I am going to give this season a 9.2.
Hmm.
Justin, I'll let you go last. I'm happy to go next
Oh, sure, go for
to
it.
quickly follow that up. We've already talked about how like, there was a lot of things I was disappointed in Daredevil Born Again season one, and I think we did an episode kind of like the first three episodes in, and then at the finale, if I remember right. And I remember my score dropping quite a bit between the first three episodes and then the season finale because the first couple episodes were obviously this kind of like this redo. They obviously took over the show, they redid a bunch of it, and like I was really into those couple episodes. And then the show really like lost a lot of my attention about midway through, especially when it got very lawyer procedural and they shortchanged Muse as a character. So that led me down. But this really like it picked up where I was excited at the beginning and like never let go. So this is the Daredevil show I was hoping was in season one. They finally like really hit their stride. They know the characters now. They're doing really interesting things. Some of the stories are a little bit like retreaded, at least the major themes, especially this whole like vigilante unmasking thing. But they undid, at least they're setting the undoing of the loss of the Muse character. I'm really fascinated to see like us almost get this like second origin story of the character and to get to a state where like we can really appreciate how completely psychotic this villain can be. So I'm really excited for that. I think bringing Jessica Jones back in, that was fantastic. It was great to see, and they brought her kid in. That daughter is her and Luke's daughter, obviously. So that's it's great to see that comic character show up. And now I'm extremely excited for season three, even though I know Iron Fist is going to show up. I'm like, this is all maybe they can redeem it. So this is really like a complete redemption in terms of these characters and this arc. So I'm going to give it a 9.5. This is my only qualms are like I think connections to the overall MCU could have been stronger. Just one line about Spider-Man somewhere in here like would have been
Mhm.
a really big help. But for what it is a 9.5 in my eyes.
You know the
Wow.
characters in New York don't acknowledge each other. You know that.
No, they mentioned when did they mention Spider-Man? I want to say season one,
Don't
Did
you
they?
just
remember?
just
The whole
really
city of New
close.
York turned into this black void, and
Like it's stuff like or it's the Eternals. It's the Celestial
yeah,
coming out of the planet. Like they just had to reference that in Captain America, and like that's it. Like
Yeah.
they need to be so much more consistent. It would be so great, and it's just a couple lines of dialogue.
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, that brings it over to me. So I like that this is a show that it's not about, it's street level. It's not about stopping a cosmic, universe-ending threat. It's not about, reality collapsing in on itself because a timeline split or whatever. It's grounded. It's sometimes a bit maybe a bit too grounded, and hits very close to home with the current political climate and all that. Um, but that said, I liked that aspect of it because it's approachable. It's a breather from all the power creep, as it were, and it still tells a very good story, a very pertinent story. Um, as you said, yes, it does reuse some tropes that have been used before. The dramatic unmasking, the fact that the Civil War type, anyone wearing a mask is a criminal kind of a thing. Um, so things like that kind of diminished it slightly, but I still think it's a very solid core story. Um, that said, it's the ending, I think, that kind of drops my score a little lower than it would have been otherwise, because I really, really wish I could get behind like the final message in this show, where the will of the people matters, where villains can in fact be brought to heel, that the corrupt people in power actually do have consciences in there somewhere, and that having to be brought face to face with their inner turmoil, the idea that that is punishment enough for their crimes. I wish we could get behind that. And maybe that's why this is fiction, because in this world, that sort of thing works. That sort of thing, is the reality that is presented. Uh, but I don't know. It just rang a little hollow when you see, say, in our world, how just completely devoid of any sort of remorse or care for other people or morals or any sort of introspection the corrupt people in positions of power are. Um, it's so in a way, despite the fact that it's a faint hope at the end of this series, I feel it's almost too optimistic, and in a weird kind of way, that actually just drops it a bit because it that realization that even that small glimmer of hope that people can in the direst times and through great sacrifice come together and make a change for good. The fact that even that message feels hollow, it hurts a little to consider. So I still liked the show. Various parts of it have kind of made me have to face some very harsh truths about our that world and our own. um so not always an easy show to sit through, but a good one. I'm gonna be the low ball here, 7.75. Uh, Mainly because I just really wish that the ending felt more realistic and more plausible. Which that's not a failing on the show's fault. It's just we live in the worst timeline, is what it boils down to, and this was kind of a reminder of that. So, but that said, don't let my lowball rating on this, drive anyone listening away. It's definitely worth watching. It's great fight scenes, good music overall, great performances. It's the show that has me the most interested in what Marvel might do next that I've been in a very long time. Um, so that alone is saying a lot. But it's hard to square the circle with comic book style good versus evil stories and then the actual grim dark world we're living in. So I'm rambling. I'm
All
gonna
right.
toss it
All
back to
right.
one of you here.
No, just so we hear you, they should have gone with Creep instead of Pyramid Song. We get it.
Overplayed, Justin. Come on.
What can I say? I'm a traditionalist in some ways.
That's fair. I'm not a Radiohead fan, so it was lost on me. But I actually pulled up my Shazam to see what it was, though. So I was pretty happy that I remembered because I keep that app right in the middle of my phone just in case I ever need to find it quickly. So
Nice.
and nowadays kids are like, "What's Shazam?" They don't even know what that is anymore. So
That's built into my phone. So
I'll just ask AI what the
there it
song
is.
is.
It's probably built into my phone too, but I don't know how to use that. So back in my day, we didn't have phones. Two tin cans and a piece of string if you were lucky.
And an encyclopedia of song names.
That's right. In our brain, because there was only 10 on the radio. Just kidding. All right, 8.82. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
all right. Well, that sounds like we're wrapping up here. So I've been Dan, he's been Cody, he's been Justin. Thank you all very much for joining us, and until the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Take care.